and welcome to a brand new episode of the podcast entitled Couch Potatoes Unite! Exclamation point. This is a podcast based on a blog of the same name because, like the doctor, we like to make an entrance and say our name a lot. My name is Kylie and I love TV. If you feel the same, keep listening and or checking out the blog at couchpotatoesunite.wordpress.com as you're bound to find some common ground or something you like. For at Couch Potatoes Unite, we're all about the wonders and the unique long-form storytelling of the small screen. CPU! Exclamation point. Hope spring is near to blooming in your neck of the woods. We also hope you've been following releases of brand new episodes throughout November through February of this year, and we have several more new episodes on the way. As always, though, because the panelists and I have to live lives behind the podcast and be our own version of Mad Men in boxes, the episodes are being published once per week in mini-seasons, kind of like The Walking Dead. So subscribe to the blog or the podcast via iTunes or Stitcher Radio to stay on top of brand new episodes. We have several episodes already published discussing Unbreakable Kimmy Schmidt, Forever, Game of Thrones, Orange is the New Black, The Vampire Diaries, and How to Get Away with Murder. We've taken a look back at True Blood, Ally McBeal, and The X-Files, and more episodes are in the works concerning the new X-Files miniseries, a revisit for the final season of Downton Abbey, a reminisce about Desperate Housewives, and hopefully many, many more. If you don't hear your show in this podcast format, though, check out the blog. Fellow panelists and I still write reviews, and we're always seeking new panelists, so if you have any interest in joining the discussion, say hello. We have a Facebook page, a Twitter, follow us at CPU Podcast, and an email address at couchpotatoesunitepodcast@gmail.com. Of course, you can always subscribe to the blog, our YouTube channel, our iTunes channel, or our Stitcher Radio channel and leave comments and reviews. We enjoy your feedback, and it's easier than taking a survey, isn't it? Today, we're around the water cooler and discussing Series, or Season, 9 of Doctor Who, which aired on BBC America from September 19 through December 25, 2015. Our illustrious panel of eager Whovians, the technical term for Doctor Who fans, are gathered together once again to discuss and digest Series 9, particularly after we made predictions and suppositions during our premiere podcast party, which we published a week after the premiere. If you're unfamiliar with Doctor Who, it's the long-running science fiction TV show about an alien known as a Time Lord who travels around in a police call box that serves as a spaceship and time machine, which is called the TARDIS, and which stands for Time and Relative Dimension in Space. With companions in tow, he discovers all manner of space civilizations and eras, from the beginning to the end of time, from one end of the universe to the other, and he has made himself a few enemies along the way. The show has been in existence, on and off, for over 50 years. Peter Capaldi, the 13th actor to play the regenerating Doctor, finished his second season in the role of 12th Doctor. Hey, it's complicated in the Whoniverse sometimes, particularly since Capaldi appeared as two other different characters in the Whoniverse, including on a previous season of Doctor Who and on the spin-off series Torchwood. The subject of his face was lightly discussed this season. We'll see if our panel buys the explanation. In the meantime, for a more detailed plot summary, listen to that or other prior podcast episodes, or check out our other Doctor Who entries on the blog. If you didn't already know, you can click the floating box at the top right of the header, the picture with the TV watcher, and search for any blog entry or prior podcast episode, which, though not as good as a sonic screwdriver, is still a pretty handy thing. Today, our panel, including Kristen, our converted Whovian, Sarah, our converted Whovian, Nick, our hardcore Whovian, and Amanda, our new Whovian, and myself, who's also a converted Whovian, will be discussing the intergalactic and less than stellar points of Series 9 around our water cooler, which we should confess is bigger on the inside. It should be noted that all of our panelists have viewed the entire Revival series and may discuss sensitive plot points. So, for those of you who are not up to date on Doctor Who, listen at your own risk, as there may be major spoilers. Alright, well, let's just jump right into it, because, unlike other shows, I'm sure if you listen to Couch Potatoes Unite, you know we go through a character breakdown, but Doctor Who doesn't have a lot of fixed characters. The only fixed character is really the Doctor. So, we're just going to go straight into talking about the season. and talking about some of the other seasons as well, probably, and comparing it a little bit. So what did you think about Series 9 overall, panel? What did you like, what didn't you like? Let's talk about it. You can compare it to other seasons, other doctors.
I like this series better than the last one.
Way to go with the UK.
That's why it came out slow. I don't know how it compares to the rest. I don't think... Tennant and Smith I still think I enjoy better than Capaldi, but last season was a little rough for me. This season, I think, was a lot better. There's really only one episode this season that I still don't know what happened. The Sleep No More. I think I missed a key phrase at the end because Sarah and I were both like, wait, what?
Is that the Morpheus one?
That's the one with the Sandman?
Yes, Morpheus.
That was weird, yeah, I don't know.
Is it a dream? I don't know what happened. I couldn't follow.
Yeah, so the Sleep No More episode is when the Doctor and Clara find this planet, I think it's Neptune, but it's many, many centuries into the future, and this technology called Morpheus allows people to get so many hours of sleep in a very short amount of time to increase productivity and efficiency and all that jazz, and it has some pretty serious side effects as a result, because people need sleep. The doctor says it's a universal across all species.
And it's awesome.
Why would you give up sleep?
I do not know.
Well, and the great irony is this is the episode that actually put me to sleep while I was watching it.
Me too!
So I did laugh when I woke up at the end when the theme song was playing again and for the credits, and I thought, oh, this was about not sleeping, and it put me right to sleep, and that was a bit of a shame, I think, but it was boring. I didn't care about them as characters. I didn't care about the problem. I nothinged that episode to the point of falling asleep.
And the dust could see except when it was completely giant monster, but those things are blind. It really was the only one I had issues with this season.
I would concur that it was the worst episode of the season. And I did fall asleep. That's not a lie. I'm not just saying that. I literally did what Amanda did. I woke up during the end credits and I was like, oh crap, what happened?
Yes. I was binge watching the season and fell asleep during that one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think for me, Sleep No More was my least favorite of the season. I mean, it's still better than Dinosaurs on a Spaceship.
Ah, jeez, with your
but that's my least favorite
just
one.
You're a creationist.
That makes no sense, Nicholas. No, I just thought that episode in particular was just silly and stupid.
I love how she's taken to calling you Nicholas.
She's not messing around.
You know you're in trouble.
No, yeah, Sleep No More was my least favorite of the season. I agree with everything that was said. I didn't fall asleep while watching it, but I had to force myself to pay attention, and there was rewinding and rewatching on my DVR during that time.
So did it all what was the last sentence? I swear it didn't happen or something. I didn't get...
I didn't even go back and rewatch it.
Okay.
Because I knew this would come up, and I remembered I would say it was my least favorite. I can tell you what my second least favorite is, too.
Well, I guess the other thing I wanted to say was the two-parter that opened the season didn't give me much hope.
Yes.
Sorry, series. Like, it had everything you would want in a Doctor Who episode, and it still felt like the previous series where it just wasn't.
See, and those were the episodes I liked the best, and I liked last season better than this one.
I liked the end of last season better than the beginning of last season. But yeah, I definitely... The Magician's Apprentice and The Witch's Familiar, which were the first two, they were okay.
Except
I wasn't sure where the season was going at the end of these two episodes.
Yeah, that was unclear. I was really hoping that they'd just leave Clara
behind.
Oh, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
That.
But I will
I don't care. We're talking about the episode, and I wanted her to be dead.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's just so sad that they dragged it on.
I do think the first two episodes set up with should he or shouldn't he save Davros sets up that inner conflict
well,
of
it's
where
the whole,
the timeline...
It's am I a good man, too. It's that continuing overall theme of Capaldi's Doctor. Am I a good man? I don't know if I am or not.
So I think it sets it up. It just, like I said, the previous series... It's not like they were bad episodes. It was missing that little something that just kept...
I thought they were dull, and I couldn't figure out what was happening, and I'm sorry. I know I'm the slow one, because I can't understand what they're saying a lot of the times. It's not you, it's me. Like, I'm not one of those people that thinks everyone should talk the same, but I think that they talk too fast, or I don't know. And I didn't understand what was happening. And was Missy actually being good, or was she being bad, or was she helping, or what? I still don't know, guys. I think I fell asleep during those two. Not the first one when we were here, but the second one, I'm pretty sure I fell asleep.
Yeah,
and I was also really mad about it and upset and grumpy.
Well, I will say, too, I've been re-watching this series because now BBC America is doing little specials, and they're calling them Doctor's Notes, where they have like the little pop-up trivia pieces or fan art and things, and re-watching them and then getting the little bits of trivia actually has helped me understand the significance of going back to Scarrow and all of that I didn't know before. And so, second time around, way better than the first time around, just in general. Because I really wasn't a huge fan of this series most of the time through the first watch.
So the 3 thoughts I want to toss out. First of all, if you listen to our prior Doctor Who podcast, particularly the very first one, you'll remember that Amanda does not like Clara at all.
I want to like her. I think that's the thing that bothers me. They set her up as being so clever, and then she's so stupid. And it bothers me. Like, they ruined her.
She did some dumb
Yeah,
stuff.
They
she
ruined
did.
She was
her.
very reckless this season.
Well, even
Yeah.
but she's been reckless since Danny died. That was her thing.
which was the end of last season.
Yep, she became very reckless, and I don't know. I felt
I
like
think
it
she's just
wasn't.
trying to live more like the Doctor.
She is
was
now.
trying to imitate the Doctor, I think, for a while.
Yeah.
Well, it just bothers me that when we were introduced to her, she was the clever girl. And it was this, I was like, ooh, someone who's actually going to be maybe close to an intellectual match for him. And then she's just such a dud. I mean, so she's cute. That's what she has going for her. Mm-hmm. But, like, where's the depth of
Where's the
character
spark?
that we have
Yeah.
with so many of the other companions?
Well, I think with the cleverness, they set up a lot of mystery around her because we see her a
She
little
was the
bit
impossible
more.
girl.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And the mystery around the impossible girl was, how did she keep cropping up in the Doctor's timeline all throughout the Doctor's lives, plural. So once they solved that mystery, which was at the end of Matt Smith's tenure, they had to reconfigure what her identity was, particularly since she was carrying over into the Capaldi tenure.
Which I
Right.
think that's been the problem with fans is that they didn't quite find exactly how to use it.
They didn't get the footing. I mean, I understand
Well, her
why.
chemistry with him is not the same
It's
as
not
it
the
was
same.
with Matt Smith.
No.
Which I liked. I like that it was hard for her
To
get
adjust.
through the yes. Like I think that is a cool thing that they did, especially since we had. No, we don't. I don't know. We don't really see that tension, especially because I think she thought Matt Smith was kind of cute, and now we have this old guy. Is it even the same guy?
Yeah, but
So
I mean,
it's cool to play with that, but it really made it hard for that whole series.
well, the reason they did it is because when Matt Smith was playing the Doctor, that's when Doctor Who really exploded, especially in North America. And so many of the fans were so attached to Matt Smith that they were really upset to see him go. And so the way to kind of bridge that gap was to keep Clara on. Mm-hmm. And she was essentially playing the audience. It's how do I get used to a new Doctor as Clara? But she's again playing the audience perspective on how do we get used to this new Doctor after so many people like Sarah fell in love with Matt Smith.
I think they miscalculated, though, because we don't care about her. We don't want to be her. Give us someone better.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see myself as her.
Yeah, I mean that's kind of what they did with Rose too. When initially, she was the audience being reintroduced to Doctor Who after it being off the air for so long, and then having her carry over from Eccleston to Tennant kind of bridged that gap too of how do we, introduce the audience to this concept that he's going to change his face. So I mean, I get it worked well with Rose between Doctors, but you're right, it didn't work with Clara because she was changing identities herself.
Well, she actually changed identities twice, because last series she was the I'm reacting to the Doctor has changed and he's not the Doctor I knew. But there was also the supporting character in Danny Pink who made her have a normal human life. And a lot of what we talked about and what kind of fueled Amanda's detest for her was that she was the impossible girl but became the absolutely possible girl. Like the most ordinary, uninteresting human being that came along. Now in this season, whether she's reacting in grief, that was not written or specified at any time during the season, or whether they just decided to change her direction a little bit knowing she was going to leave the show, They made her the I'm going to do anything at all costs, no matter how stupid it is. And that it was kind of stupid because, big spoiler, it resulted in what was temporarily her death. At least for the time that we know of.
She still doesn't have a heartbeat.
Yeah, she's still technically...
she's frozen in time.
She's frozen in time.
Yes. And so she made a lot of, and he yelled at her all throughout the season. He was like, what are you doing? Stop that. You don't have to do that. And she kept saying, you don't have to protect me. I didn't ask you to protect me. And there was that whole interplay for like episodes.
Yeah.
So
I really wish facial expressions came across in sound because the one I'm making right now.
Amanda's like,
so many thoughts. Yes.
It really bothered me, her ending, because it was like, I'm going to spend 14 billion years in this time loop just to get back to her to do all this stuff. And then, oh, I'm so sad that I have to wipe your memory. Oh, wait, I'm going to do this. Whatever, you did that to Donna. So, like, and we like her.
Donna's memory got...
That was
the only way to save Donna's
life.
Yeah,
Great.
that was right.
But that's what he was trying to do here, was save her life by taking her out. Time was going to reset, then he was going to wipe her memory. It's like, come on, buddy. Like, you're going to all this...
his memory.
Yeah, well, because remember, it was doing it together, where neither of them knew if it was going to be her memory that was going to go, or if it was going to be his.
And he had to wipe her memory because they determined that her death was a fixed point in time.
I get all that, but what I'm saying is, like, come on. Like, it almost made it like she was his favorite ever, because he was going to do all this stuff and blah, blah, blah.
I don't know. That happens every time there's a companion.
I don't care. I think
Except Martha, maybe. Or Martha.
I don't think that it was that she was his favorite. I think that it's been so many. He's lost so many.
Whatever.
Okay.
I'm sorry, you're not going to change my mind. I think it was weak writing. I think there had to be something else. I don't like it. It was too similar, and I didn't like it.
Well, in a way, I wanted one to actually die.
Yeah, we
haven't had a companion die besides Danny, in this modern series.
Well, Danny wasn't technically.
And he wasn't a companion
because he never really came along.
Yeah,
right.
But they have had, I think, 1 or 2 companions die in the classic series.
Right.
But yeah, we haven't had that.
She would have been the perfect choice because instead we have this like weak Donna recurrence of wiping mind thing that we already had, and we had tragically, like one of the worst, most devastating moments of the reboot was the wiping of Donna's mind to save her, to save all the things.
When she finally felt smart and finally felt like
she finally felt accomplished and she had changed.
Right. And to take all that away because it had to be that way, and it's a sacrifice she is making. To me, that's a beautiful moment, rather than I'm going to go through all this stuff for this really undeserving twit who, causes all these problems for herself.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know, I guess it's an argument of, do we save people who are on such a path of self-destruction?
That was my problem with it, because you're absolutely right. That's the thing that I couldn't understand from the doctor. Clara made her choice, and he acknowledged that. Actually, one of my favorite episodes of the season was Face the Raven, when she did die. Actually, anytime Maisie Williams appeared, I was pretty okay with it. Really? Those were all my
Even the lion face guy? I didn't like that.
Lion face guy. Which one was that?
The second one she was in.
Oh, I loved when she was the thief. I loved that one.
That guy that looked like the Beauty and the Beast guy from the 80s.
Yeah.
Remember that series?
Yeah, that was a little...
He looks like that guy.
That episode was a little rough for me, but...
Yeah.
I liked her.
Mm-hmm.
Wait,
her character.
This is...
A shielder.
Yeah. Nope. Didn't love her.
Oh, I did.
Didn't love her. Didn't like anything about her.
Oh, wow.
All of it was bad to me.
See, I did like her. I liked the fact that he used... Now, Capaldi is making a lot of decisions that prior Doctor incarnations have not. First, he introduces the alien technology and makes her immortal. Literally immortal. Then, she's not only immortal, but she becomes this almost irredeemable brat. Really. She becomes selfish, and part of it is sympathetic, because when you live that long, this is a possible consequence they're suggesting. What if you were immortal? This might happen. Then we get to the scenes when well, we'll have to talk about Gallifrey as well, since they came. Spoiler! I mean, I thought the episodes that Maisie Williams appeared in had much more energy, much more interest. I don't think the series, and by the series I mean the 9th season as a whole, is my favorite by any stretch. I kind of sort of liked last season better too.
You liked last season, Series 8 better than Series 9?
Yes, I think I did.
I did too.
After I finished it. Now, the Christmas special this time was much better.
Yes.
The Christmas special was my most favorite episode.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too.
But I liked that whole interplay, and then what bothered me about the Clara thing was that she made all of her choices. He warned her repeatedly, stop doing that. She takes the shade thing, the Raven's curse, upon herself and says, whatever, it's strategy. And the guy who's got the curse says, no, what are you doing? Mm-hmm. Then she realizes the consequences are real, and she's like, well, okay, la la la.
It's like, now I just have to live with it.
Yeah, and then he first says, oh, there's nothing I can do, and then all of a sudden he's in the confession dial and living for billions of years. Does that mean he's that many billions of years old?
Yeah.
So he's now like 20 billion years old?
That much time passed, but every time he teleported through...
He restarted, right?
Yeah, because I don't think
I'm
has
so confused
the memories of it. Yeah, I don't know.
It's one of those weird... It's almost like it's in an alternate universe type of thing inside the confession dial. I don't think... I mean, time passes there differently than it passes in,
Well, because he
the
technically dies.
Yeah.
Each time.
Each time.
So,
And then reappears in that cylinder.
that went on for...
billions of years.
Yes, but I don't think, he has the memory of going through it.
I think he does.
No,
have
I think
the
he
memory.
does.
Because he busts through
Or does
the
he just
ice.
figure out what he's been doing every time?
He figures it out every
Yeah.
time because it's always he picks up the previous jacket from being dry.
So he figures it out.
And
So the last time he figures it out, he can tell how the stars have changed. That's the only reason he knows the amount of time that passed. But every time he comes through, he doesn't have a recollection of what he did.
Not when he starts over, but at the very, very end, he busts through the ice. Comes
the
out
diamond
of
ice,
the diamond ice comes out of the dial and ends up on Gallifrey.
So
at that
does
point,
not make sense.
no.
Very lost. I did not get it.
So at that point, does he retain the memory of everything that's gone on before? That's what I'm saying.
I think he retains the memory of the last time through.
Yes.
Yeah, that was my
I
understanding.
don't think he retains the memory of all the billions of years that passed, because again, the time passing is not always the same. But I think he remembers that last final time
And
he
how do
punches
we know
that
that
last
the
time.
time passing is not always the same? Because he lands at the end of the universe, when time ends.
He took the long way round.
That's all he said, is he took the long way around.
Right. So I'm still back on my...
Again, I don't
Not saying
understand
that
what's
I
going
answer.
on in any of these
Time
episodes.
changes differently for every person.
He's not a person. He's
Okay.
a time lord.
He's a Time Lord, and the confession... maybe the time goes differently, because Time Lord technology is different.
Yeah.
But at the
very
same time,
confusing.
he ends up 20 million years later, and it wasn't through the TARDIS. That's all I'm saying.
Right, but
Through some little space warp door.
Yeah.
There was a weird...
There was
Yeah.
a
I mean,
space
it's
warp
Time
door.
Lord technology that has created this place in the
He
first
broke
place.
through it and stepped through like a tear in time, it looked like.
Oh, I guess I missed that piece of it.
Oh, yeah, once he broke through it, so when he was on Gallifrey, there was still a shot where there was almost like a crack in the wall, except smaller, like a Bugs Bunny cartoon going through the wall.
Or maybe I registered it, but I forget it now.
Yes.
I liked the second half of that duplex better than the one where he was repeating the day over and over again. Because I kept going, what's going on?
It's like Groundhog Day.
It was like Groundhog Day with the Grim Reaper thing.
Yeah.
I liked that episode.
I liked it too.
I liked it. And
I like them both better than... So back to my other point.
the Clara point.
I thought it was beautiful. Him going through it and figuring it out and building.
But how was he? I didn't know what he was. I couldn't understand him. What? I'm like, what is he doing? Let this end, Lord.
The first 2 episodes of the season with Scarro were my second least favorite after the Sleep No More. And that's really because I think you hit it on the nail before when you said you didn't really realize how it set up the rest of the season. Even the weak philosophical argument, I don't think actually ties in very much. I think they just wanted to come in with a bang and put the Daleks in. My question, though, is Davros sucked regeneration energy out of him.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
Who the hell? I did want to point out that maybe you're saying Capaldi, as the Doctor, is doing all these things that the Doctor would normally do, but we're also seeing a Time Lord have more regeneration energy than a Time Lord's ever had. So I don't know if they're leading into it, and that's kind of why, maybe. Because the Masters don't know who tried to do that, and I don't think that helped the Master be sane.
No.
I don't know what they're going to do with that.
And they didn't really say where Missy went.
Yeah.
No.
I like her. Come back.
Yeah, she's great.
That's why I enjoyed those episodes.
I like
think,
her.
Is because I really like her, and I find it amusing, the whole frenemy dynamic where they have this relationship, but they don't work toward common goals. But then there are times where she's helping him.
Well, I think it's because they've been best friends like all through growing up. I mean, she even says, I knew him when he was a little girl.
Right.
Yeah, which is it was a cute
She said
little.
that in the premiere.
Yeah.
And how cool was it in the last episode where he shot that Time Lord? And she was like, "What? You don't kill people?" And he was like, "That's a Time Lord." And then that person turned into a girl.
Yeah,
Yes,
the guy Commander.
I mean, ma'am.
Yeah, well, it's
That was
just
funny.
kind
I
of,
liked
I know a lot of the fans have been asking, can they change genders and, can their skin change colors? And I think that just really showed, yep, there are no rules. When you are a Time Lord and you regenerate, anything goes.
I think from Classic Who, we knew they could change gender.
I think so, too.
They just never showed it.
Yeah, then that's one thing. It's always been out there. It's a possibility, but there's never been concrete evidence until these last 2 with Missy and then the Commander changing gender.
Well, now we have a more modern audience.
Mm-hmm.
Is that a thing we might see?
There's been a few audience members, they've done a campaign to have a woman cast as the Doctor in an upcoming...
I mean, at the very least, a minority would be interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the presidency of the United States of America. It doesn't have to be a white man. We're ready for more
And
things.
We haven't had a ginger in either.
No, that's true.
That's true.
But that's something the Doctor said. Still not a ginger.
Still not a ginger. Yeah.
Well, why don't you just be Donna Noble, and then you can say that you
Or
felt guilty about your choice, and then you look like her, and it can be played.
That is actually, there was an article I read recently about how fans are campaigning for Catherine Tate to be the next Doctor.
Well,
They
that would
did
be
that
awesome.
for Billy, too, to play the Doctor.
No, that'd be too much. She's
Well, that was before they brought her back as
as
John
the moment.
Hurt's companion.
the
yeah.
moment. Yeah.
But that's just, it's kind of weird, but I would accept Catherine Tate.
I think anybody would accept Catherine Tate.
I would also like to say that Sarah has mentioned at least once a podcast that Donna Noble needs to come back.
Well,
She does.
We all just enjoy her so.
She might be my favorite character.
Yeah, I mean, she was written so
Not just
brilliantly.
favorite companion. She might be my favorite.
She was, and I don't know what it was about the writing that made it. She got to speak truths and be like, no, you're being stupid to the Doctor.
Yeah.
But
Their chemistry.
funny.
Their chemistry, I think, was a
good.
big
Yeah.
part of it, though, too. Because they've gone on to do other projects in real life
Yes.
together
Yeah,
after they
they're
ended
good
Doctor.
friends.
They're very good friends.
And the fact that we had them just be friends, not
Yeah, there was no
a
love
weird
interest
romance from
Yeah.
Rose and a weird one-sided romance
from Martha. Well, Martha.
Much maligned Martha.
And Donna turned
like
him
Martha.
down and then went looking for him, remember? And then he came back. She was like, you're here. Oh, good. Well, I see
Well, she
that.
started in the Christmas episode.
Yeah.
she did start in
And
it.
her grandpa was a companion.
Yeah.
That's true.
Wilfred.
Let's bring him back.
He would be
He
great
was fun, but he died.
He died. I think he died.
in real life.
The actor?
I don't know about the actor.
The character died?
Didn't he?
No?
Well,
Donna's
one
dead.
of the
Dead.
two happened, I feel like. My brain is saying...
No, I think the character didn't die.
I'm looking.
Did he come back after he came around saying bye?
He did. He was still there. Because when Tennant was saying his goodbyes, he went and he stood outside Donna's wedding. And Wilfred Mott saw the doctor and saluted him.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
is there an episode after that is what I'm asking that I can't remember where he dies?
I don't know.
No, because that's Tennant's last episode until the 50th.
Yeah, so he's alive.
Okay.
Unless the actor passed away, which I don't remember hearing.
The actor who played Donna's dad
It doesn't
passed
say
away.
he died.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe
I
we're
made
thinking
it
the
up.
actor that played her dad died. Maybe that's what.
He died before they brought Donna Noble back.
That's
Yeah.
maybe what
Yeah.
I'm thinking then.
So from the
Not
Grandpa
wedding
episode.
Somebody died.
Yeah.
Everyone dies. The X-Files tells us this.
Oh boy. That's a different podcast.
You're right.
Can we circle back around to Clara and her death a minute? I know we were kind of on that track and then we got off that track, but
I know. Plus, I was sort of stream of consciousness.
yeah, we follow you. I'm sure the
good.
listeners are too. So I'm not upset that Clara kind of technically died, even though she hasn't officially died yet. But I'm more upset about who she sacrificed herself for. I mean,
Some character I had to go look up
Riggsy.
on IMDb.
I know.
he was in the Flatline episode.
Yeah, I looked it up.
I mean, he was great in Flatline. He was great. He was a good one-off character. I don't understand why, out of every possible character that they could have pulled from, why they pulled Riggsy. I would have much preferred her to see her sacrifice herself for, I think her name was Courtney, that one troublesome student of hers from last season.
Or a child.
Like one of her students. I mean, I feel like it would have been a better ending for me to have a little more emotion involved.
I think they were trying to justify it by Riggsy having that new baby and her feeling like you have to be there for the baby, but it was a little hard. Like Nick said, we had to look up this character. I'm like, who is this person? Why is he calling?
Yeah.
And even after we looked him up, I still was like, I don't really remember that very much. So I don't know. I felt like they were really digging for something.
Yeah, I don't agree with the Riggsy. I mean, I can understand her sacrificing or her taking on the Raven countdown, over somebody else to give them their full life, but Riggsy?
Well, and remember, she was thinking the doctor would save her.
Yeah.
So.
Why didn't she wait until there was like 2 minutes left? Okay, I know that. It is more dramatic, but
I don't know. Yeah, just her whole thought process in that episode was weird. It almost felt like the writing was rushed, but they knew that she was leaving before they started filming. I mean, the fans knew before the season started airing that she was done.
Or why didn't they give her the tattoo from the beginning and have him see it?
My question is, why didn't they leave her? I actually thought her death was kind of beautiful, the way they shot it.
And
That's why it affected me so much. But when she came back at the Gallifrey part, I was like, well, that cheapened it.
Yeah, when they were able to pull her out right before.
Well, part of it being for Riggsy, I felt the opposite. I felt like this isn't how you kill off a companion, I felt that they were probably going to be bringing her back. Like, that wasn't it. Because I thought it was anticlimactic.
I mean, I thought once they got to it, once, the Raven was actually coming for her and, don't run, but she just kind of quietly left to face her fate, literally face the Raven. I thought that, I agree with Kylie. It was shot beautifully, it was acted beautifully, it was a very beautiful moment.
It was powerful.
It was very powerful, and I would have been happier with them just, nope, she's gone.
Plus,
boom.
Schilder/me made this big point about they want you, they're here for you, i.e. the doctor. So he ends up in this confession dial, and then he makes it sound like it's his choice that he ended up in this confession dial and waited billions and billions of years.
He waited 7,000. I just looked it up. It's only 7,000 years.
Oh, I thought they
I thought so too. According to this episode recap, it says 7,000 years.
I think that's wrong.
It's probably wrong.
Sarah had a similar issue. He was supposed to tell them about the creature and he would have gotten out of the confession dial.
Right.
He chose not to. He chose the long way to get out.
Right.
That's what he chose.
He wanted to know about the hybrid, the Time Lord
but
Council.
he didn't. He decided he wasn't going to tell them. He was going to just keep going through this loop.
But then did he even know who the hybrid was at that point? Because didn't he say he was the hybrid later?
No, I think, didn't he say a shielder was and she said he was?
Well, that was later. I think he thought I can't remember who he thought the hybrid was.
I thought he said he thought it was himself.
I think he did. I think you're right. And he didn't want to tell them that.
Mm-hmm.
So, with all of this, everybody's shaking their heads.
I mean,
I can't remember. I really can't.
Well, there's a lot. It was very confusing. this season, I think, was maybe, and that's why I like it less than the last one, was more confusing. There were a couple episodes that gave me, good feeling. Like the one underwater was scary with the zombie that didn't talk, ghost things. Yeah.
What?
I like
remember
those.
that.
I like that two-parter, and I like the Zygon invasion and version.
The Zygon was...
The Zygon one was
okay.
good. Yeah.
It
I liked
almost
Oscar.
reminded me a little bit of the first season, like when that other species takes over Parliament. Like, it had that kind of feeling to it.
Oh, yeah, I remember that episode.
And then bringing
Osgood.
Osgood back, and I liked it. Well,
With her
Kate,
little-
I love Kate.
Yeah, and Kate.
Well,
I
the
loved
fun-
Osgood's
Yeah.
little change of accessory where she was channeling 5 at this point
Yeah.
instead of 4.
But the fun thing about Osgood, though, we don't know if she's the Zygon or if she's the true Osgood.
Well, they're both there.
They're both.
Are they
say-
both there?
At the
Yeah, they're
end,
both
at the
there.
end, they were both there.
Did I miss that?
And they
Yeah.
both said that they are just Osgood.
Oh, that's right. I remember that now. I was very, I don't know, I'm still caught up on the fact that Missy killed an Osgood back in the day, and then
But
she's
they're
not
back.
dead. I know. Yeah.
I don't remember those people.
Oh.
I was like, I don't know what's happening. I don't
She
know.
got baby brain.
I must, maybe. I don't I didn't remember it, and then Nick was like, "How do you not remember?" I'm like, "Cause I don't. I don't remember. They were not memorable to me."
Well, let's bridge a topic that maybe you will remember.
Oh, okay. Ooh.
How'd you like the Christmas special, Sarah?
Oh man, I loved it.
Yeah.
Well, because can I just say, you know how I don't like Capaldi?
Yeah.
He was so romantic and sweet. At the
I
I just want to give him a big old hug and a kiss.
I love the chemistry between
They have
Capaldi's
awesome
doctor
chemistry.
and Alex
and Alex
Kingston.
Kingston.
His goofy moments were like, this is the doctor when he's with River, no matter who's
Yes.
face.
Yes. And
He
his
did it
genuine
perfect.
confusion, like, how do you have all these other husbands? How do you not know who I am?
I know, I love
Yeah,
that
I
whole
love
thing.
And I thought it was a ruse. I thought she was pretending she didn't know at first, but then when she realized it was so
And then she
Sleepless in Seattle.
and then he gave her sonic screwdriver that she takes to the library where
Yes.
she meets the
Yes.
tenant doctor. Oh my god.
Yes, and when he
Oh.
said hello, sweetie,
I just
and
love
she was
it.
like, he doesn't care about me. Yes, he
I'm right here.
I could watch that.
I was not the biggest fan of River Song with Matt Smith.
Oh.
I wasn't, but I just didn't like their chemistry together. I liked her as a character.
Okay.
But I think
got
it
you.
was their
Yeah.
chemistry for me was a little off.
So if you
Okay.
recall from the prior podcast, Sarah and Amanda liked Matt Smith. Kristen did not like Matt Smith. Nick and I are like, we like them all.
As I've come to realize, the reason I probably didn't like Matt Smith, it could have been due to the writing, because there was a lot of missed episodes in Matt Smith's era than there were in other doctors, including Capaldi. I feel like Matt Smith had more missteps, and that could be the writer's fault. I'm not blaming him as an actor. I'm blaming the material he had to work with may not have been the best.
I think part of it might be watching classic Who, because they're all a lot better than the any ones in the reboot they're just better because of the time. I'm just used to that type of storytelling instead of they're just more drawn out, and obviously the production value is
Yeah.
good.
Well, now
But-
this season they went back to that 2-episode storyline structure that classic Who used.
Which I like.
I liked it.
That's
I liked
I
it.
like the two-part. I even told Sarah that this reminds me of, Tom Baker's fighting robotic mummies for a 6-parter almost.
And I was like, who? What?
And for me, I felt like the strength of the stories were better. There wasn't. Even Sleep No More wasn't horrible. It just was like a little stumble.
Sleep No More really bugged me because I think the premise is very intriguing, and it could have been such a good episode, and then I don't know if it was the writing
Or the
what it
execution
was,
or
but it just
something,
wasn't. It wasn't, but
I
it
agree with
could have
that.
been.
Well, and that's the one that was the standalone
It was
in the season. It was the only one that wasn't part of a 2-parter. So, maybe there wasn't enough story there
Well,
to
technically, Face the Raven wasn't a 2-parter either. Technically,
true.
Face the
Oh, I
Raven
guess
was a
you're right.
standalone. Those two were two standalones,
You
but
can
Yeah, but
easily
then
watch
it
the last
sets
3.
up.
you can watch the
I
last 3 together.
feel like
which
the
I
last 3 go
understand.
together.
And
But,
there's a shield there. Those, it's not like to be continued.
Right.
It's just they're completely different stories that involve. Oh, that's what's happening with this character.
Right.
They didn't have to be next to each other by any means.
Right, they could have been moved around in the season, and it would have been the same.
Which it almost
but they go
felt
together.
like they weren't sure where they were going to put it, because you had Clara with the Doctor for so many episodes in a row, and then he comes in and she's like, oh, she's not here this one.
Yeah.
That threw me for
I enjoyed it a little bit. I was like, oh, this isn't... I don't need her.
The break from her, yeah.
I didn't miss her in that one.
I liked their relationship better in this one. I thought they figured it out.
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I
they
mean,
finally did it.
Yeah.
I think
But
I
they-
liked the stories better
Yeah, I
out of
did
the
too.
episodes in Series 8. But I liked the relationship between the Doctor and Clara was a little bit more grounded this time.
Mm-hmm.
Only because I think they did make a decision as far as, okay, we get along now. It's not this... They were kind of bickering like an awkward married couple in Season 8.
Yeah.
Which we talked a lot about in the last
Mm-hmm.
podcast. That was kind of a universal, and no, we don't like that.
Can I just throw in a formal petition for the next companion to be, the season opens with the Doctor going and rescuing River Song from the library. Because I love his chemistry with Alex Kingston and River, and I would love to see her come back post-library with Capaldi.
I want them to bring
Sure.
Romana back.
Who's that?
The Time Lady.
Yeah,
From Classic
he
Who.
advocated that
Companion.
last time.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Because
That
he's
lady.
she's from Classic Who.
Yeah.
She was his companion through a regeneration, but I think it would be cool if he had a non-human companion.
Kristen had speculated that perhaps Maisie Williams was going to play her.
Yeah, that's
kind
what I thought.
Kind of thought maybe too.
Oh yeah, she ended up not being anybody. Remember all that buzz? Like,
Yeah.
oh, she's Jenny. She's whoever.
Well,
No,
and that
she's
makes
not.
more
She's
sense
no one.
because
Yeah, she's
if
me.
he was,
Yeah.
She's-
if she was any of the three people that everyone was
Was
guessing,
speculating.
a lot of people would have just been disappointed by it. I don't think they could have played up an actor to do that.
What do you think about her and Clara going off and traveling through time in a diner TARDIS? I was angry. Why
I feel like it was a weak ending. I feel like it was a weak ending for Clara because
It
they
was a
gave
week ending for a shielder.
it was
too.
a weak ending. I mean, I like that she got to.
she's not an angsty, horrible person. Like, she has direction now.
Well,
The
no,
shielder.
I mean, I think she was
I think it was a
redeemed
good
in
ending.
the end, but
And now she has purpose for I don't know how long.
Well,
That's the
but all
point.
she's doing is traveling around with Clara in another TARDIS. Like, what is their purpose? What are they going to go and do?
She's gonna try to be like the Doctor.
they're going to rip a hole in the universe because Clara is supposed
Right.
to be
Well, I mean,
dead.
but Ashilda also said that she's the patron saint of who the Doctor has left behind.
She did say
So,
that.
I mean, so is that their purpose now? Are they going to go off and fix?
It just felt
When
like
the
a
Doctor
really
left.
bad setup for a spin-off show.
Yeah,
It,
that's what I said. I'm
It
like,
made me
this
want to
is
just
gonna be
die a
spin-off.
little inside. I was
mean,
like, seriously?
Well, I don't
diner.
think that's going to happen because Maisie's still got to be
Right.
Arya.
Right, and
So
Which I
Clara,
think is a
she has
better role.
moved on to portraying, was it Elizabeth or Victoria?
Victoria, I think.
Victoria in a new season series that's coming out.
Okay.
But I don't know. I felt, the need for Claire to come back and have her goodbye with the Doctor. Okay, I get it. But I just felt her running off with Ashilda was stupid. I agree with you guys. It was
Didn't like it.
It was very anticlimactic and weird and
And I'm usually okay with a very open-ended, ambiguous ending. Like,
yeah.
people complain about it, and I go, oh, I kind of like that. But that, I was like, no, I really wanted her to die. And it's not even because I don't like her. I just think it's the way her storyline needed to end.
It should have because
it
she
was more powerful when
Yeah.
she actually did.
when
that
she actually
character.
died, because I was pulling parallels to Danny Pink. He sacrificed himself. He got hit by a car initially, but then he sacrificed himself as the Cyberman to save humanity. And okay, Clara is self-sacrificing to save Riggsy, a little smaller
Was
scale,
that human.
right? But I just thought that was such a great parallel, and it was unnecessary. And having the Doctor completely, wipe his own memory and not remember who she is, how is that going to play into the next series? Because in previous, the Doctor's always kind of lamented his companion if they were pulled apart tragically. So how is he just going to not even remember? Is he just going to go like, oh, I
He
just
might be lamenting River because
I think so. I
Maybe.
think that's the point.
That's
of
now it's going to be the
We
point.
don't need to dwell on Clara.
That's the
anymore.
point.
We don't.
The
Let's
Christmas
move
special.
on.
Because, they were very clear in the season finale. That's why we got all those scenes in the diner with her as the waitress. Because at first you're thinking, oh, she doesn't remember.
She doesn't remember.
And then you see the twist is that he doesn't
and
remember.
I went back and actually rewatched it after that big twist was revealed. And the way that it's written, you can easily see how it can be read either way.
Yeah.
But once you know with the knowledge the doctor doesn't know who she is, it's very apparent that he doesn't know who she is.
Right. So I think because he doesn't know, I think this is he's forgotten her. There's no reason to get over her.
Right. So I guess was he just going to imagine that he just lost Amy and Rory? I wonder what he remembers and doesn't remember now.
And because this Christmas special is always supposed to be the cedar for the next
bridge,
season. And so we get the Husbands of River Song, by far my favorite episode of all of them.
I second third.
Yeah. And what we find out at the end of that is that a standard year on the Singing Towers planet is 24 years.
It's so beautiful.
So at some point they're going to separate. I think Nick surmised it. I think it's going to be, I miss River and I need a new companion now.
Well, and essentially, and it's because, the Singing Towers, that's the last time we see River before she's sent to the library. But I want him to go rescue her from the library, and I've never thought I would ever say that I wanted River to come out of the library.
But time isn't linear for either of them.
It's but
now in River Song's timeline, she hadn't seen 12 before that point.
That's true.
So if they had gone on adventures, 12 and River together, she would have recognized him during the Christmas special. And she
remember
didn't.
the fold-out wallet that didn't have.
She had all.
I'm so sad.
She didn't even know that he could regenerate another.
Yeah,
she wasn't supposed to.
No, because he got regenerations from River and he got regenerations from the Time Lords when he restored Gallifrey too. So
we're not exactly.
We're not following the laws of Time Lord physics anymore.
Or how and if both those events actually informed the regeneration thing.
Yeah.
We'll have to talk about it a little bit after Series 10 when Capaldi leaves.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's a brilliant segue. Thanks, Nick.
You're welcome.
So, first of all, the official announcement is that Stephen Moffat will be leaving as showrunner at the end of Series 10. He will do one more series, and then he will go, and Chris Chibnall, I think is how you say it,
from Broadchurch,
is the creator of Broadchurch, will be taking over as showrunner for Doctor Who. In the meantime, unofficially, although very likely, Peter Capaldi has more or less referred to the fact that he will most likely be leaving at the end of Series 10 as well.
He would be following Tennant did 3, Smith did 3.
Well, but Tennant also, he left because Russell T. Davies left. And so he felt that it was just the perfect breaking point for him to leave because Russ was leaving.
Because each showrunner has a different spin. So let's talk about a few things here. First of all, what do you think about Stephen Moffat leaving?
I'm excited, especially at how much Sarah didn't like the last 2 series. I think it's the only way she'll come back for another
and also
one,
it's good to
is
keep
that
the
there's a
show
different
fresh.
showrunner.
Can you tell Nick and I are married and that when I'm miserable watching it, it takes away from his enjoyment? I feel bad, though.
Well, the one when he was trapped in the confession, you were like, I don't get what's going on. I'm like, shut up. Usually I try to help you catch up, but I was just really enjoying it.
And that was a Stephen Moffat written episode.
So maybe I'm happy.
And you like Broadchurch, so
yeah,
I'm excited.
Do like
the only way Doctor Who can keep going on is fresh blood, new
it needs to regenerate itself.
Right. If we can do complete new cast members, I think
new showrunners
we
are
could do
good.
A new showrunner, at least for a show that's been around for decades, where it's in people's blood growing up. I think
because the people who tend to work on it really have a deep appreciation for it.
I was never offended by Stephen Moffat. No. I mean, I've enjoyed ever since people made me watch this show. I've enjoyed the evolution from 9 to 10, 10 to 11, 11 to 12. However, I do think one of the reasons why we're in varying degrees lukewarm, maybe Amanda's a little bit better and some of us are a little bit worse about this season, is because the writing suffered. It was inconsistent. We know that Moffat is sidetracked with other projects, including Sherlock. Yay. I know they only do that whenever they can get together.
Sporadically, yeah.
But still, if you are working on several shows as head writer and executive producer, that's bound to spread you thin. We also have a very vocal fan base, most of whom are not Moffat fans. So, in the end, I think it might actually be a good thing. Now, with that said, I don't know. I haven't seen Broadchurch. That's probably going to be on our podcast soon.
Broadchurch
It's a
is
good show.
such
Yeah,
a good
It's
show.
very good.
See?
Yeah.
We have a panel right here.
Yeah,
So,
it does bode well, I think, to have that direction come. I feel like the characters in Broadchurch are better written across the board
okay.
than the ones we have in Doctor Who. So
Okay,
I'm
that's
hoping
good.
for
That's good to know, because me and my hating on dinosaurs on a spaceship, the new showrunner is the one who wrote that episode, and so
It's just one
I
of
like
I understand, but considering that the new showrunner only wrote just a very few number of episodes, and the ones that he wrote were not my favorites.
What else did he write? What other
I don't
ones?
remember, but I remember that one specifically because when I saw that, I was very concerned.
Sarah
However,
will
Well, when you
Yeah.
write a show,
Yes.
though, here's
Right.
the script. Stephen Moffat had to make
it's
it.
right. It's here's the overall arc for the episode. Go and write it. I understand that too, but having heard phenomenal things about Broadchurch, and it is on my next to watch list. Now
I'll be a Couch
I'm a
Potatoes
little-
Unite podcast.
I'm a little more
Yeah.
optimistic about where Doctor Who is headed, knowing how well Broadchurch has done and how well written it is. So now I'm actually excited for this guy.
Okay, Chris Chibnall wrote 42, which is where Doctor and Martha only have 42 minutes
Yep, I remember
to
that.
save the world.
I
Yeah.
don't remember that one.
Well,
That was one of the better Martha episodes from my
I
recollection.
like
Oops.
those.
He wrote The Hungry Earth,
Was that the trees one?
a small Welsh village where he senses the ground isn't quite right. There's a drill rig,
Oh,
There's
that's
a
what we.
two-parter
and
where we meet
the ancient reptilian
Yeah.
race.
whatever Bash
Oh,
said.
Yeah, that's where we meet
Right.
Bash
So
for
he
the first
wrote-
time.
Those are good.
Yeah, those
That
are.
sounds decent.
I liked that.
Yeah, Cold Blood is the other
I
one.
recall that, yes.
He wrote Dinosaurs on a
That's actually really
Spaceship.
good.
He wrote The Power of
So
Three.
he really likes reptiles.
Not a great
Which one's the
one.
power?
with
That's
the
with the cubes.
All right.
Amy and Rory with the cube.
Yep, and then he wrote The Magician's Apprentice.
Which was
The second.
No.
It was the first. It was the series opener this year.
So he's all over the place.
He's all over. So he's
not
not.
high variation.
He's high variation.
He'll have a writing team.
Yeah.
Maybe he's better as showrunner than actual.
Oh,
Yeah.
Broadchurch is so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like I said, I'm excited to
That's
watch
well
Broadchurch, and I'm excited to see where Mr. Chris is gonna take us.
Chris, if you're listening, send us an email.
I'm curious. I'm
Couch
curious.
Potatoes Unite
What are you
podcast at
thinking?
gmail.com.
We want to know, dude.
Yeah.
I'm curious if we'll have a new companion with a new doctor, or this next companion will do.
We'll transfer over again.
Mhm.
I think we're going to get a different companion. Because the other piece about this is, if you don't already know, there will be no brand new season of Doctor Who until spring of 2017. There will be a Christmas special this year. That's the only thing.
Yeah, that's
we're
all
gonna
we'll get.
in
Which will be
2016.
it'll be another bridge.
Another
It'll set
bridge.
us up for the 17th season.
Kind of like when Tennant did 4 specials and then regenerated.
And we just
Yeah.
know
Yeah.
Capaldi's in the Christmas special. We don't know if River. We have no idea.
We don't.
have no
We have no
idea.
idea. We don't. There's been no talk about casting a new companion. All we know is that right now Stephen Moffat is writing. He's going to write most of this next season. I think is what he said. So
Yeah.
he's busy writing this next
basically-
series. And I know.
Oh, no.
So, but yeah, he's busy writing, and he even said it's going to be weird because he's writing them now, but they're not going to start filming due to other
gives him lots of
commitments for a
time.
little bit. But I mean, and the BBC is going to make a big deal out of it because Doctor Who has become so popular under his command. They really want him to go out with a bang on Doctor Who, and they want to make it a big event. So that's
Which
why
is why I
they're
think the delay, because they really
they're going to throw a lot of money at it and a lot of resources and make it. So I'm not thrilled about not having it for another 12 months, but I mean, if they're going to make it, if they're going to live up to their promises and make it huge, okay.
That gives you time to watch the X-Files.
Much bully Kristen about the X-Files.
12 months. That's one season a month and 2
Oh,
movies.
but you have Broadchurch. That's 2
I have-
seasons too. That's
I have
that will fill
Broadchurch.
your Doctor Who.
That
Yeah.
goes quickly though.
And
It's
you
hard
guys
to
know
know
how
what's
much
going
I love David Tennant. I love
You'll
David
binge
Tennant.
watch those.
I will
Rory's
binge
in
watch
it.
it. And Rory, I love Arthur because we have the same birthday. Yay, we're
Well,
birthday buddies.
several of the characters guested.
And
Yeah, I'm
Filch.
excited.
Well, British TV, there's always so many of them.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Filch
people.
from Harry Potter's
Yeah.
main character. And actually, the other co-star, I can't remember her name. She is in an episode of Doctor Who.
And she is...
the first one where we
David
see Rory.
Bradley is Filch. He is in everything.
He's in everything.
And
he's
he is
brilliant.
the stand-in for William Hartnell whenever they need him.
Yeah, he
He'll
is.
break your heart in Broadchurch.
He will.
Oh boy,
God,
that's all another.
No,
But he's not on Downton Abbey, though, is he?
We
I
know
think
what's
that's like
on
the one
Downton
English
Abbey.
show he's not on is Downton Abbey.
Well, that's Sky TV.
That is.
So, boy, we just went all around there.
We really did.
So, is it time for Capaldi to go?
Yeah.
I knew Sarah was going to say
That was such a beautiful ending. To spend 24 years with River and then get out.
I do agree.
Wasn't
was
that
a
beautiful
lovely
and
kind of
romantic?
swap. I love the
that's-
whole episode.
I think that episode was probably one of my favorite Capaldi episodes, period.
I think it was
Yes.
one of my favorite episodes
yeah.
of the
Hands
series.
down.
Yeah.
It was well written and just, I was wondering if we were ever going to see the Singing Towers because, River had mentioned it
Yeah.
in the library episodes, and it was nice to finally get there. And
there was comedy with the guy in the heads and the thing.
yeah, I mean, it was you still had
The
those
Iron Man
moments.
body, whatever.
Yeah. I don't know, and I love those two together, so I really hope that's not the last time we see them interact.
One of my
like-
favorite little bits is he opens the TARDIS doors and there's the ship is in wreck and flames, and he just closes the doors, opens the doors, the fire's gone.
Yeah,
Just a little farther, nudge it a little farther.
yeah.
And I like him. I do. There's something about him I enjoy. I didn't love his dynamic with Clara, which I think kind of dampens things for him. But I like that he's a little silly with the guitar thing. And
Actually, I love that.
I just
too.
like that. I
That
don't
rock
know.
star motif. I totally like that.
Yeah, and
I
the fact
like
that
him.
one of the early episodes in the season, they actually changed the theme song to an electric guitar rock version because Capaldi, whenever he had the electric guitar, he'd be goofing around on set with it, and he started actually riffing the
Right.
Doctor Who theme song, and Steven's like, I love
It's
it.
in one of the episodes.
Yeah,
Yep.
he said, I love it, let's do it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also, can I just say the Beethoven, the bootstrap paradox analogy was probably one of my favorite Capaldi breaking the fourth wall moments of the season.
Yeah.
That was so smartly done. Loved it.
Yes. I like him.
So you're not ready?
I just want to see what else he can do with someone who's not terrible.
I
Yeah.
think that's the hardest part about these two seasons not being great is if you're a fan of Torchwood, it's hard to not like Capaldi as an actor. He's between the Pompeii episode and that you get to see him do some different stuff, and
Yeah.
he knows what
He's
he's doing.
capable.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's very capable.
So I don't blame him, except the parts that it is sometimes hard to understand what he's saying. But
Well, they let him be Scottish.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure Scottish people have no trouble understanding. It's just me.
But I agree with Amanda. I think because when I started to like Matt Smith was when Clara came on board because I hated Amy, loved Rory, hated Amy. I understand, Sarah. She's giving me a look. If you guys,
No, I'm rewatching it. I don't love Amy,
I don't love
but
Amy.
I loved
Amy
the fact
and Rory.
that that he knew her when she was a little girl,
yeah,
and then he
I also
like
don't
Amy.
know if in the however many decades Doctor Who's existed that he's ever had like a married couple come with him.
Yeah, that was the
Yeah.
first time.
which was
And
pretty
it's hard
cool.
to come up with
Yeah.
new
Story. Yeah,
gimmicks for companion.
yeah. But
You can only do robot dogs so many times.
I
Amy more
loved
when-
K9.
like K9.
I enjoyed Amy when she was with Rory.
I did too.
More than
Than
just
Amy.
because I love how they always set it up like she was gonna pick the doctor, and then
she
she's like,
never-
"You dummy! It's you. I love you. Duh." I
Yeah.
just thought that was cool.
So, but
Yeah.
full circle, back around. So, but that's when I sort of started to like Matt Smith, was when Claire came on board. And I think once we get a new companion for Capaldi, like Amanda's been saying, I think we'll like him even more because we all loved him with River.
Can we have it be a guy? I'm sick of these young little
Girls.
girls in their mini skirts. Can we get
Well, it'll probably be a guy when the Doctor's played by
A woman.
I think
Well,
so. I hope so.
But Classic Who, sometimes he literally did travel. I have 4 people. I have a child and a Time Lord.
Yeah.
They do a lot.
One
They did a
travels
lot more.
with 3
Mm-hmm.
to start. He's got the teachers and his granddaughter.
Yeah,
Who
Barbara.
then changes to another girl from an alien world Well,
Yeah.
then changes again before he dies.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, there's been companions from the future, from the past, from
On Earth,
modern
off
day
Earth.
London frequently.
I enjoyed that we got rid of like the whole romantic
Yeah.
element again because we
I
had
don't
it
need
for
it.
a while,
I don't
and I
need
don't
it in
want
the
the
show.
will they,
Yeah.
won't they.
It was
No.
hard going from Rose to Martha, and they had a twist with Martha where it was completely
Unrequited.
one-sided, but it still was.
But-
it
but
was
still-
such a
Refreshing when
With
Donna.
Donna,
Donna
yeah.
was just.
where
Well,
she
I
laughs
think
at
that's
his
why I
face.
didn't
She's
like
glorious.
Martha. It was not because she wasn't smart and strong and all that other stuff.
She
but
just wasn't. She wasn't
defined
around.
herself by pining for the doctor, who did not feel the same way because he was off loving Rose.
But then
So-
Martha ended up with Mickey, and all was right with the world.
He-
I like
was
that.
a very good
I
thing.
like that pairing quite a bit.
Yeah, that was a nice touch.
So, but yeah, I would like to see another best friend relationship. I don't need romance with Doctor Who. If there is going to be romance, it can be between, a companion and somebody else.
Well, that's the
if
crazy
we
thing
have
about
to.
him with River is it's technically romance,
It is,
especially at the
but
end.
it
But when
doesn't-
they're going on adventures,
It doesn't
they're
feel
having the fun that David,
Yeah.
that Tennant,
And Donna had.
yeah, that it has more of that feel.
That's
to it.
because she's as smart and as snappy and as high energy because she
Yes.
was born on the TARDIS.
Yeah, so she kind of
So-
inherited a little bit of, Time Lordness in the Doctor because
Right.
that's where she was conceived.
She's
She
the
makes-
match. That
She
Amanda
makes a
talks
better
about.
life partner, not
Yeah.
just traveling companion.
Yeah.
It's they had potential to make Clara more like that, and then they didn't. And so now it just makes me want more River Song because she is a match. She
And
gives
she's
him
so well written and just
she gives him a run for his money. I mean,
Yeah.
she challenges him as a man, not just as, come save me from this latest disaster.
no, she's a take charge kind of
Yeah.
woman. I like that.
Plus, as Sarah has mentioned in previous times, Alex Kingston is phenomenal.
She's
amazing.
phenomenal.
Great.
Phenomenal. I mean, I know, we had talked about, the hybrid, Gallifrey wanted to find the hybrid, and they said that it was the Doctor and Clara together. They were the hybrid, which
I don't understand.
I
that.
didn't understand that, but when they kept mentioning the hybrid, the first thing that came to my mind was River Song. River Song's going to come back. River Song's going to come back. I mean, I knew she was coming back for the Christmas special by this point, but honestly, she is the hybrid. It's like that.
That's true.
She literally
Well,
is
maybe
the
there's
hybrid.
still something there.
Maybe. I don't know. They seem to really, kind of close that up, is that it was the Doctor and Claire together, and that's why they had to get rid of her.
I don't understand.
I don't understand
That
that.
didn't make sense.
It
I
didn't-
know.
It didn't make sense, but give me
I'm
more.
with you, Sarah,
yeah.
on that point.
Give me more River
Doesn't
Song.
make sense.
I'm looking up what she's up to.
I'm torn about the more River Song thing because it did kind of end perfectly. If they
It
brought
did-
her back, it's gonna be
I mean,
rough.
it ended perfectly. They filled in her whole time stream. Now we've literally seen her from birth to death in the library, but
Let's Kill Hitler. Is that the first time or
that's when we see her regenerate into River Song, as we know her now. But
Right.
that's the youngest we see her. isn't
Right.
it?
yeah,
Looks like she's on a series, but who knows? Those British actors do like 9 series at once.
They
Well,
do.
they're not filming the
They
next
don't-
one for a long.
they're not
That's
filming
true.
it until this time next year. I think is what they usually start a few months ahead of time.
She just hasn't aged a day since ER. Not
No.
a day.
She hasn't. She's gorgeous.
Not a day.
Is that the thing? We all just want to be her. So then,
A little.
Yeah,
We all
I'll
love
be
her.
Alex Kingston when I grow up.
right?
I'm good with that.
There are
That's
definitely
right,
worse
yeah.
things to be.
Yeah.
That's true.
I want that thing where you spray and it changes your outfit.
Oh yeah,
I was like, oh,
That
that's
was pretty
handy.
nifty.
that
A
was nifty.
trowel.
And I love her.
The Sonic trowel.
A
I mean, out of
trowel,
all,
what are you doing?
I mean, we've had Sonic lipstick, Sonic sunglasses, and now we have a Sonic trowel.
I didn't hate the Sonic sunglasses, but I was very glad that he.
Went back to a
Yes.
screw.
That he got us. Well, and did you pay attention to what the new Sonic screwdriver looks like?
It's
It was
blue.
like there for a second.
It looks like the TARDIS.
I did not see
It's
that.
blue and it has white little squares on the top.
Oh.
It just looks awesome. I'm really excited to see him use it, and yay for Doctor Who for more merchandising money, because now everybody's going to want that Sonic screwdriver.
Yay for capitalism. We didn't talk much about Gallifrey, and I really feel like we should spend a little time on it. It was supposed to be a cataclysmic event.
Yeah.
So he
It's kinda-
found Gallifrey again.
Again. He found it again.
But
But he trapped
he wasn't
it in the
really
universe.
looking for it.
No, he wasn't. But that's why I'm saying I feel like we should talk about
And
it.
they were kind of like evil to him. I don't know.
Well, not the people of Gallifrey, but the.
Time Lord Council.
Yeah.
But he ended up in that shed that he was in the 50th anniversary special.
Because that's his home.
Is that his home?
Yeah.
A shed?
Well, it was like the
depressing.
barn part, right?
Yeah, it was the barn of his home. Like that's where he grew up. That's because back in when was it? Earlier, Clara saw him there as a little boy being scared, like asleep in the barn, and she went and comforted him and all that. And
That doesn't necessarily mean it was his home. He could have just been hiding there.
I know it has significance to him. I really think that's his home, or that's where he grew up. There's meaning behind that location.
Well, he was there, and then there was the Time Lord people, and then they were like, listen to me, and then they didn't listen to him. No one cares about this. You don't
I
care
care
about
about
the
it. The way it ended, I don't know. Can he get back to it? Is it like, do they have to do something big in order to have Gallifrey be part of any kind of story, or is it so far away and so secluded that it's like we've seen it for this episode, but it's still, for all intents and purposes, lost?
Well, that was my question. So he comes out of the diamond thing and ends up on Gallifrey, but the last we knew of Gallifrey, it was in the crack in the universe, locked away, hidden from the Daleks, so that he didn't really destroy it like he had thought. Mm-hmm. That was what we learned from the Day of the Doctor and the Time of the Doctor, Matt Smith's last two episodes.
But the 50th anniversary. Oh, the 50th anniversary is where they got
the
was the clue that. Yep, here is
the painting was the clue.
Yeah.
The painting and Tom Baker's cameo spoiler, and then the very next episode was the season finale, which was the time. Well, actually, it was the Christmas special.
Yeah.
The Time of the Doctor.
And then the Gallifrey comes back, or it's in the crack in the sky, the night sky.
Right, and that's how the regeneration bequeathment happened.
Yep.
So are they still in this weird separate universe when he comes out the other side?
I guess that's why it didn't land with me, because I don't
remember.
Yeah.
I know, Sarah.
Well, it was just confusing because he got there and it looked like, what's that planet in Star Wars? It's all sand. Tatooine or whatever.
Yeah, that's
I'm like, where are we? And then he was like there, but then he had to get away and escape because he had to go to the catacombs, and it was just like, I wasn't excited that he was there because it seemed like unsafe, and I don't know.
I like the cavalcade of villains that you see.
Oh yeah, thank you for giving us another Dalek. I needed that in my life. And then,
well, he was only there for a second.
I know.
We went to Weeping Angel. Hello,
I know,
Sarah.
and a Cyberman. I know. But I was like, come on, you had to get that in, didn't you?
Yes.
I was waiting
and
for
then
Omega to pop out from the 3 Doctors. Are you there yet? No? It's the first time we have the first, second, and third Doctor together.
I'm not there. Well, it's going to be hard to get there, what with Doctor Who being yanked from the streaming
I thought you were farther
services.
along.
I was not. I was not on the third Doctor, thank you very much.
And I didn't feel very much joy that he finally made it back to Gallifrey because it seemed unsafe. I just wanted him to get away.
It was cool that they all laid down their weapons and were like, no, we're following this guy. He knows what he's doing.
And then that old guy, like Sarah said, regenerated into a woman. So what does that mean? I think it created way more questions and left no answers. And then they completely abandoned it.
Yeah, then it's River Song and Christmas special, guys.
Yeah. So I don't mind, again, and I didn't miss it because the episode we got was so good.
I think the writing was really choppy this season. I think that's where I'm landing right now.
I still think it was bad. I enjoyed these episodes more than Series 8. I'm going to stick with that.
Oh, there were a few good standouts in Series 8.
I felt like there were more moments that stuck with me and that I was amused and still remember from Series 8. Like, I had to look at the list of episodes from this series to remind myself, and I was like, oh yeah, that happened. Instead, and I don't know if it was just the frame of mind when I was watching it, or
it's converting from single episode arcs to double episode arcs.
I don't know.
That actually helped me remember what they were more, but that doesn't mean that I liked them better.
Yeah.
I think I just kind of like silly.
Yeah.
I don't know. And there wasn't a ton of silly in this series.
He was very serious and or grumpy a lot of the time.
Right, and I like him, but I kind of like some of the goofy storylines where they're just in this random weird historical thing and hijinks ensue. Like, for me, I
think
that.
I'm really grumpy, so I need it to be more lighthearted for me.
There weren't a lot of those this season.
There weren't.
No, there weren't. But because of you start with the two-parter, the last 3 episodes is kind of an arc, and you have at least 2 two-parters, and there wasn't really room for it. They didn't make room for it.
I don't think any of the episodes were intended to be the silly, funny,
No.
caper kind
At
of
all,
things.
no.
And I think I may have been just mad through the whole thing that Clara didn't get stuck in the Dalek, and
I actually kind of liked it when
The
she
second
was in the
episode.
dock.
I-
That
it was-
fun.
I wanted her to stay there. I just wanted him to be like, oh well, and then walk away, and then she's stuck there for eternity.
I thought she might get stuck there just because it was kind of a tie-in to
Yes.
the
How
first
she
time
was
we meet her,
introduced.
yeah.
Yes.
That's what
I thought they were just going to leave her there, and then that was it.
And that's
then
how she became the souffle girl.
Yeah.
That
Because
makes more
she
sense
dies
than
in
an energy
those.
raven.
Right.
Well, that's not how she became Souffle Girl, but
Well, no, but
yeah, I understand.
that whole story, that whole
Yeah.
episode was she was losing her. She ends up dying, quote unquote,
Yeah.
in that Matt Smith episode
Yeah.
inside the Dalek.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that's what they were, and I was like, oh, continuity, and then it didn't happen.
It didn't happen.
I was so mad.
I could have seen that.
I got really excited when she got in the Dalek, and I was like, yes! She's just going to be in there, she's going to be dead, and she's going to be gone, and I'm not going to have to watch her. And then he got her out, and I was so mad.
Yeah. I really wish we would have had a little more Missy this season, though.
Yep.
Yeah, where'd
I'll
she
say
go?
that.
That's the biggest thing. Where'd she go?
That's one of my
Yep.
biggest questions is what happened to Missy, and the other one is with, the doctor, he healed Ashilda and made her immortal. He gave her that one piece of technology, but he gave her a second to give her...
She
used
used
it.
it on the guy
Yeah.
in the thief
That he was
episode.
going to get hanged.
Okay.
Yeah. the
Yeah.
little
But it was like the
Santa
portal that was going to destroy the Earth
Yeah,
if she didn't
but
make
it's
him
like-
immortal and save him, and because his death was going to lead to the world getting taken over. So in order to save the world, she had to
save
make him
this
immortal.
guy. But then
Should
whatever
be
happened to that guy?
Maybe he's hanging out with Captain Jack.
I think he's immortal.
No, but where did he just kind of...
Oh,
Never-
you want to know.
He wasn't waiting at the end.
Yeah.
No,
That's
where
true.
was he?
They're okay.
That
You're
was
right. That's
that
what
was
we
my
said.
that was my other question is where did that guy go?
Yep.
The more we talk, the more I say, man, the writing was choppy this season.
And I
Or
literally
Moffat is setting stuff up.
but that's I was just gonna say I can't say dominoes on this podcast.
You
He
just
did.
did?
I did not in the way that I use it in phrase. I can't say that Moffat was setting up dominoes this season because I don't know where he's headed.
It doesn't feel like dominoes.
It doesn't feel like dominoes.
Especially with psych outs, like Claire is dead and then she's not.
And then she's not. It was just a lot of mini adventures. It wasn't an overall arc like it's been in the
See, I'm
past.
Because I don't think he handled the overall arc well last time. Everyone kind of complained that it wasn't really there. We just got little vignettes before and at the beginning of with
Yeah.
Missy, where we're trying
with Missy.
where we don't know who this lady is and why people keep ending up in her.
But why
weird
did it
things.
take everybody so long to figure out that she was the master?
Well-
Am I just like weirdly ahead of things? 'Cause
Well,
It was
you
so
also
separate to
leave
the
out
episode,
pop
I didn't even
culture
think about
spoilers.
it.
I don't do
But
that.
No.
I didn't necessarily read any spoilers on
Okay.
Missy. It just okay. Obviously, that's who she is. It just
It
clicked
It
for
didn't
me.
click for me early. It about halfway through last season, I was
Yeah.
like, oh, that's who she is.
But I mean, I would love to see more of her. On the second time around, this next one.
I have a feeling she'll be back.
Mm-hmm.
After she's done with whatever she's doing on Gotham. She'll be back, because that's
Yeah.
where she is right now.
Who's she playing?
The lady.
She,
It says the lady.
yeah,
I'm
she
looking at her.
leads a club of assassins.
Is she just as delightfully
Yes.
awesome?
Not with the insanity
Yeah.
tics of Missy's, because that's would be
Yeah.
duplicating the character. But she has that sort of playful, cat-like
Mm-hmm.
persona that she does so well as Missy. She was delightful when she cropped up. I was like, oh look, it's Missy. I'm excited. That's a
Yeah.
different podcast. And we do in fact talk about that. So
Now, the one thing that I wondered too is, we've talked about this before, how they have the whole series of Doctor Who written before they even start production, and then they don't always film everything in order. They don't start with the first episode, they jump around. And I wonder if that contributes to any of the choppiness or...
maybe yes, because they're doing the pairs, if they're
Yeah.
going to film it out of order. I mean, I don't think it would matter as much with the one episode each, but
Yeah.
see that maybe, this is kind of funny because people criticized Moffat for the serial structure, but he's probably stronger
I think so.
in the serial storytelling mode than he is in the individual or tinier arcs. Whether you liked the Matt Smith years or not, I think they translated a little bit better.
They did.
Wow, we're bumming out, man.
I think I'm more bummed out I'm not getting any new Who until Christmas this year.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
a long wait.
It's February.
It's
I
February.
mean, we're recording, it's February, so.
It'll fly by, I think.
There'll be other shows.
There'll be other shows, but
But if that was your favorite, you're just...
it's one of my favorites. I mean, Sherlock is up there too, and I don't know when I'm going to be getting Sherlock next, so.
After the last one,
No, we're getting Sherlock soon.
No. We're going to have an offline conversation about Brad, my friend. It's
another podcast
it's my
happening.
favorite episode to date of Sherlock, just telling you.
What?
So.
I missed some shit. Never mind.
We'll talk. We'll talk offline once.
Watch Broadchurch. It will help.
I will.
It will help bridge
again.
The gap.
It'll get my tenant fix in, and then I'll also get to kind of know the new showrunner of Doctor Who and see how he's gonna make it work. So.
If you don't like Broadchurch, you're dead to me.
I mean, wow. Okay, but I love murder mysteries. I love my Agatha Christie. I love all of that.
She'll love it.
I'm gonna love Broadchurch because it's a murder mystery thing, and there's David Tennant. I'm gonna love it no matter
being
what.
so violent.
I'm sorry.
I'll call you Nicholas again.
That's gonna happen anyway.
It's gonna happen anyway.
All right. Anything else you want to say about Doctor Who Series 9? Anything we haven't covered? Any other opinions that you want to toss out there? Points, questions, comments, concerns?
You know, we didn't really discuss the face. The face revelation. Did we really go into that?
Oh, we didn't. And I did talk about that in the
so
intro.
we gotta talk about the face.
Okay, one last. Yeah, I agree.
We didn't dwell on it that much, though. It was just...
Well, there'd been this buildup of yes, we're gonna throw some teasers at it. I mean, in the first time that we see Capaldi's like this face. I've seen this face. How do I know this face? Hey, sir, have you seen this face before? And even Moffat said, Russell T Davies had this great explanation of how the Doctor could have a face of somebody that we've seen before. And I'm like, oh, it's a Russell T Davies thing. It's going to be awesome because I loved everything that he did.
I guess there
was a lot of talk that they had a plan and they were going to give us little Easter eggs and little breadcrumbs throughout last season and reveal it this time. And when we got to the reveal, it was just so anticlimactic. There wasn't a big, it was nice to see the little, David and Donna. Yeah, it was great to see the callback, but it was just, I've reminded myself that I can save people and I can break the rules.
I guess not having that build up in my head, it was nice, because if you don't read the forums or don't have any kind of idea of what they're planning, you can't read into it, and when he was like, I thought it was more of a joke when he was referenced that he knows the face. Like, I just thought it was a nod to the audience that we've seen Capaldi and Torchwood and an earlier episode, so I didn't...
But it wasn't a joke, because if it was a joke, then they cheapened the joke by showing the fires of Pompeii.
Yeah. Because I never took it as a joke. I took it as he's actually really questioning, where did these wrinkles come from? Because yes, he regenerates and it's all within his DNA, but, when River Song generated from Melody into River, she even said, I'm concentrating on a dress size. So they do have some control, maybe, over their regeneration. So why did I choose this face?
It just seemed like there should have been a little bit more to it.
Mm-hmm.
It was just like Rigsy. It's just a random thing.
A wasted opportunity. It was a very big wasted opportunity.
I agree.
I mean, they really could have explored the myth of regeneration a little more, or how much control do they have, and
which isn't to say that they may not come back to
and I hope they do, because in the 50th, when with Tom Baker's surprise cameo, it is the Doctor in the future, and he said you'll find yourself revisiting some old favorites.
Well, so that's the implication.
That's
not what he says.
But I thought that is what he said, that you'll find yourself...
Those are the words, but you're supposed to take from that what you will.
Yeah.
Because he does this little nosy thing.
Yeah, but how I took that as is that he can have control over his regeneration, at least to an extent, and say, hey, I liked my fourth face. I want to revisit the fourth face now. Because it also will maybe bring back that fourth Doctor personality, too. Because the personality changes every time with the new face.
I don't think I think this much about it. I really don't. I just want a show that's like, hey, humanity is totally worth saving, and it's cool, and let's feel good about it.
I like the mythology, and I like the lore, and for me that adds a deeper level of viewing appreciation.
I am the worst fangirl, I will admit. I like things and I just have a gut reaction of I like this and then I'm done with it. I just don't like anything that much. I mean, my classroom is the TARDIS, but that's it.
Yeah.
Only because, there's a world of ideas.
It's the TARDIS.
There's a metaphor.
Yeah, there's a metaphor there for your students, but
I only analyze it when they try to make continuity and then they don't actually live up to the continuity. That's
I think I just don't have so much faith in them that I think they're capable of having continuity.
That's very cynical.
I'm very cynical.
So everybody has their own perception.
Yeah. It's like, that's kind of the beauty of sci-fi. It's like you can do anything and there's no rules, but there are rules, and I like it when they stick to the rules that they make for themselves in their own universe. And
that's the key.
That is
there really are no rules.
There are no rules,
se,
but
it's what
when they impose their own rules, explain them or stick to them. And,
Agreed.
The regeneration and the faces and all that. That's a rule, and I want to know more about that rule and why did they choose
that is
that
technically,
rule.
and you've said that many times, that the regeneration piece is a rule. So there's, I think, maybe, and hopefully, maybe, producer Stephen Moffat, maybe that's what Series 10 explores before we go on to the next Doctor. Because they really haven't established that he can go on to the next Doctor. He's just got, quote, new regeneration energy. It didn't say how much.
Right.
And since when can he just, when can the Doctor just pull regeneration energy like he did with Davros in the first 2 episodes?
He did it to River.
He did it to River with Tennant on a small scale. Davros helped that, though. That was because all those cores were part of him.
But 12 Capaldi, he produced the regeneration energy, and then the cords came in and really sucked it out. But he produced it of his own free will.
Right,
but
that didn't happen with David Tennant and River Song.
Did it?
Yeah, it
Yeah,
did.
she hits him because it was just to fix a broken wrist or something. And she was like, "Why would you waste perfectly good regeneration?"
Or maybe it was Matt Smith. Was it Matt Smith?
I think it was Matt Smith. I don't think it wasn't David
I
Tennant.
think it was Angels in Manhattan.
It was
Yeah.
Angels
You're
in
right.
Manhattan.
So
Because
that
he
didn't happen.
grabbed her arm,
Yep.
and he said he had to break her arm to get it out.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I never really figured that they could produce regeneration
I'm
energy when
thinking
they're
of
not
when David
regenerated.
Tennant regenerated his hand.
Oh,
Yes.
and that's because he had only just recently regenerated that there was left over to regenerate the hand.
And then they did a lot with that. Well, I mean, Torchwood did.
Torchwood did? Yeah.
Donna did.
Donna, yeah.
That sounded
Yeah,
gross.
that
I didn't
didn't
even
sound
ask. That's what made Donna Dr. Donna.
Yeah, it was the
because-
double meta. It was the Dr. Donna meta crisis, or whatever technical term they gave to that, which was still
I really
a
should
brilliant,
rewatch the series.
brilliant
from the
moment.
beginning.
Yeah.
More Ood, that's what I want.
More Ood,
Yes.
yes,
The Ood.
please.
They appeared for a second.
There was a brief cameo, but the Ood were great. Where did the Ood go?
Well, they told a pretty good story with them, and
They
they
did.
used it to help David Tennant.
Transition, which was
Yeah.
beautiful.
So I
But
get.
they keep bringing the Daleks and the Cybermen back. They can bring the Ood back.
I know, they could.
The Trap Street might have had some oods.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They had at least one
It had at least one.
that they showed. They didn't do a Cyberman episode, which was
They
good
didn't.
that they gave it a break.
But it was such a big climactic point in the last series. I understand why they did. Because they didn't have a lot of Daleks last season.
No.
We just
So-
But they had this, there was at least one Cyberman in the Trap Street. There was a Cyberman in the archive on Gallifrey.
but there wasn't a Cyberman.
There wasn't a Cyberman-centric episode, which was great. How much more can you do with the Cybermen at this point?
Well,
But then again, how much can you do with the Daleks
the
at this
same
point?
arguments made about the Daleks.
And they keep coming.
Oh.
I really don't like the Daleks.
And Nick said in our last podcast that as long as there is Doctor Who, there
There'll
will
be
always be the
Daleks
Daleks, the
and
Cybermen, and the Master.
Yep.
So,
More
you said that.
More mistress, please. More mistress.
And the Daleks are like the cast. You don't have these cast members that stay for 6 decades. But if you just look up Doctor Who merchandise, it's the TARDIS and the Daleks. That's what it is. It's harder to find one of anything actor specific because they just will make this in Dalek and TARDIS material. That's what Doctor Who is. So.
There are far more Doctor Who memes with Daleks than anything else. So, memes, memes, whatever.
But there is a really cool meme about how so many of the Doctor actors have appeared as minor characters before they become the Doctor. And it says something like, you travel out through time and space, you're bound to run into yourself. And they show screenshots of, I think it's the 6th Doctor as like a guard. And then it shows, Peter Capaldi is the guy in Pompeii. And it just, anybody who's appeared previously. It's just, there was a few though. It was more than just 2. But it was kind of cute. Just, even, hey, I may be a background actor in this scene, but maybe it's the Doctor on an adventure that we didn't see.
Well, as we
Who
discussed
knows?
in our X-Files podcast, it may be the country or city of shooting.
Yeah.
That's the problem, because the X-Files recycles guest stars like it's going out of style. So, and now that they've gone back to the revival and are back filming in Vancouver, they're doing recycling guest stars from the old series again. So, it may just be the fact that they're in Wales and there's only so many people available.
Yeah.
But that's my theory. I think we have sufficiently analyzed the series. Some mixed reviews on our panel, which could be taken good or bad, depending on how you want to look at it. How do you feel? Tell us. Comment on our YouTube channel, comment on the blog, write us a review at iTunes or Stitcher Radio. Let us know what you think. If you're a Whovian, how did you feel about this series? I imagine there's a lot of mixed reviews everywhere, so I think we're a small sampling, but a pretty representative sampling. So let us know. Do you agree or disagree? But in the meantime, I would like to thank Kristen, Sarah, Nick, and Amanda for rejoining me on our Doctor Who podcast panel. Gee, the next time that we reconvene will probably be after Christmas 2016 for the one episode we'll get before the season premiere. So that won't be for a whole year. To tide you over, though, we do have other episodes of Couch Potatoes Unite about other shows. So if any of those shows you like are there, give us a listen. Keep listening, keep watching. Let us know if there's any other shows you'd like us to cover. We'll be happy to take a look. In the meantime, stay tuned. Bye-bye.